Hey there, everybody. Welcome to our review of Snowfall Season 6, Episode 3. Leon and Wanda, they are back in the picture, and now we can worry about them again, which we are
No,
already doing.
no, we will not. They are married, and that's all that happened
Okay,
on this
so
episode.
you're just gonna pretend like the second, like,
That's it. I just
okay,
have on the blinders. They got married, and they're living happily ever after, and nothing else happened.
okay.
The end. Hit that
Yeah,
subscribe button, guys.
okay,
We'll
this is a
be back
very,
next week.
very short video. Why do you guys have to turn into, Lost, where they're like, we have to go back? No, you don't have to go back. This is a very dark show. Like, that's very, very clear to, I think, all of us at this point. There's probably a lot of tragic things happening. I think it's just for a lot of us, we don't want to see anything happen to Leon and Wanda because they have had this like incredible, incredible journey. And
They are the hope of the show.
yeah,
Like, Leon, for me, is the hope of the show. Wanda has always been the honesty of the show. And having these two actually, like, get married and have this, life out there in Africa where they were, like, doing really well and thriving and feeling good and feeling healthy.
yeah.
Like, that's where it ends for me.
Okay, well, we have to move forward and talk about
No,
what
we don't.
happened in this episode, where things could be going, and this is the big reason for the collective denial here is I think we're both very worried about something happening to at least one of them. But okay, well, before we get into all the potentially really sad stuff that's going
Oh.
on, hit that subscribe button. We will be here talking you through everything on Snowfall Season 6 the rest of the way. This has been a very, very busy day at the channel. We also have coverage of The Mandalorian, which has started up. Survivor also just started up today. We don't want you guys to miss any of that.
Yeah, our Wednesdays are very, very busy here
Yeah.
at the channel, so hit that subscribe button. And yesterday was my birthday. So, what I've been asking of you guys, and thank you to everyone who's already
Yeah.
done this for me, is I'm asking if you would go over to our Instagram, which is Matt and Jess TV, and just give it a follow. It's something that I've really wanted to be able to grow, and I've posted some pictures there from my birthday celebration over the weekend, which was, ice cream cake and board games because
Yeah.
I'm 48, so I'm doing it up. It's a big thing. I'm going to bed at a reasonable hour. No, but seriously, guys,
Yeah.
if you wouldn't mind going over and hitting that follow button, I would really appreciate it.
Thank you guys so much. And okay.
Okay, let's talk
This,
about the good stuff
okay.
first.
All right.
So
All right.
this whole episode opened with Leon and Wanda. They are out in Africa. They are very happy. I
Yeah.
mean, everything is going really well for them. You can see how happy, healthy, well they're doing. Yes, things are very much still weighing on Leon, but Wanda is thriving. She is doing so well. And I think that's such an important story to see because people who go through recovery, some people are able to be in a position where Wanda is, where they can really thrive after. Lots of people struggle and they do sort of go back and forth and struggle with it for their whole life. And Wanda mentioned that out there as well when Leon was like, listen, like, I need to go back. I need to make a difference. The whole purpose of me coming out here was to sort of settle, learn, and find a way to make change back home, sort of thing. And for Wanda, she's just like, I can't go back. Like, if I go back, I feel like there's going to be this pull and this push that I might end up back in a really bad space again. And I've actually been able to move forward in this, and I don't want that to happen to me. Where Leon's like, no, I'll protect you, sort of thing. And she's like, yeah, like you protected me before. I think it's a really important conversation to have of why Wanda is one of the most important people on this show. She has kept everybody honest about what they're doing, that their business is not just affecting strangers for them to get money, it's affecting people that they love, family. This is his love, his woman, now his wife. And I think it's a really big ask from Leon to say, I need to go back. Where Wanda's kind of like, we can help from here. You have money. Let's send it to the shelter for Alton's shelter. We can get that up and running really well. We have contacts there that we can work to make a change from here where we can continue to be happy, healthy, and thrive.
I think everything that Wanda says is correct, and I think this is what makes this episode fascinating and complicated, because I think for the sake of Snowfall, the show, if they want to continue to really use a lot of Isaiah, John, and Gail Bean, you got to get them back, of course, around
I
everybody
know.
else, and that's the hard part about it, because I think all of us collectively, we want to see Leon and Wanda happy. I mean, if there are characters in this world who deserve a happy ending, like, it is those two. And I think Leon, unfortunately, he just can't seem to get past the idea that he needs to know for himself that things are getting better. He needs to see it with his own eyes. I think he feels like this is going to haunt him for the rest of his life if he doesn't do this. But it is a really huge risk that he is taking. And I'm sure he thought a lot of this through, because Leon is a smart guy, but
Mhm.
it's still like, there's still a difference between, thinking it through and then actually coming back and then being in the thick of it again, and then realizing, okay, I thought that things could be bad, but I didn't necessarily think that they were going to be this bad. And now that he sort of finds himself back here, it becomes a question of, okay, is it really possible to actually get out of this again?
Yeah, I think he's in a really different frame of mind than everybody else that's still back at home and still, things have gotten worse and worse and worse and worse.
Yeah.
It's like when you go on vacation and you have this amazing life-changing experience, and then you come back home and you're still in that life-changing experience, but no one else had it with you. So everyone else has still just been trucking along, and they're just like, I don't get it. And, I'm not going to get it because I haven't had that same experience as you. And he's like this one guy who wants to make a difference, where he wants to, like, okay, I did these things and now I need to find a way to move forward in a way where those things don't continue to happen. How do I do that as one man? Like, it's a very difficult task, and when no one else has had that experience, so they're not really listening to him. Like, we saw him go to Jerome and Louie, who were like, get out of here with your riding
Yeah.
the middle of everything and wanting peace. That isn't what's happening right now. And then he also had the conversation with Franklin, who basically said the same thing. Take your wife, get on a plane, and leave, or pick a side, because there is no riding the middle and making everything work. You just don't understand what's happening here anymore.
This is where I think things get really, really painful, because in the video last week, I felt pretty hopeful that, Leon and Wanda could be the people who go on to tell the tale, who are like there once all this is over. And now after this episode, and I hate to say this, I almost want to pretend I'm living in a world where I'm not saying it, but I feel like Leon's gonna die now, because I feel like I don't want it.
Stop!
I don't want it. I want to make that clear, because I love Leon, but it is sort of this difficult situation where there's going to be casualties of what's going
Of
on.
course.
And I think ultimately having it be someone who kind of gets caught in the crossfire, or even with something that they're not even responsible for, like, that is sort of the big tragedy of this world, is that the people who go are not often the people who are responsible, or the people who did anything at all. But it's sort of like, here's Leon, somebody who's trying to be a leader, trying to bring about change. But like you sort of said, he's in this place where not everybody is willing to altogether listen to what he had to say. And I think because he doesn't want the chaos, he doesn't want, the heartbreak of this world, I don't think he's gonna be able to commit to going as hard as a Franklin, a Louie, or Jerome. And that's going to make him vulnerable, and that vulnerability is what I'm afraid of now.
Leon is not going to die. I don't think he's going to
I
die.
hope you're right.
I think he's going to be, he has a ton of responsibility of what has happened in his community. And I think he is going to be this show has a lot of darkness in it, but there has always been an element of hope and honesty with this show. And I think because of that, they're not going to just take away the only person that has like any kind of hope that we can see some kind of change. So what I do think is going to happen, this really
Oh no.
hurts my
Don't
heart
say it. Don't do it.
because this is my all-time favorite character on the show. I've been saying this for
Oh
years
no.
on this channel. It is Wanda. I think that Wanda is
Oh.
actually going to end up dying, and I think it's
Oh.
going to be the next catalyst for Leon to be pushed into this mission of his even further, that he had a hand in what happened to her and her addiction, and her being able to go through rehabilitation. And then she had this moment with him out in Africa where she was like, please don't bring me back. Like, we saw that moment with her grandmother and trying to make amends, and that her everything that's there back home for her is in ruins, in rubble. And if she ends up dying, I think it is only going to push Leon harder to get people to listen to him, because no one is listening to him right now. He's a one-man band, and he needs somebody. He needs to start bringing people in a way that they will understand the journey that he was on and why he sees things differently, so that he can make a change. Because if no one listens to him, the change won't come in.
Well,
Oh
wouldn't you
God,
guys?
I hated
I
saying
know, I know.
that out.
Now that we have both collectively broken our own hearts in this video, let us know in the comments. Do you think we're wrong and
Oh.
that they're both gonna survive? Who are you more worried about? Hit that subscribe button. We have more Snowfall discussions coming. Let's talk about Teddy, who sucks. Like, it's so much easier to talk about Teddy because we're not as invested in Teddy. If Teddy dies, I don't think anybody is just gonna be like shedding a tear for
No,
any of it.
but he needs to die by Franklin's hand or Sissy. Like, it's just, if he ends up going down because of everything that happened in this episode and sort of what he's realizing who's after him
Yeah,
now and what's going on, it can't be that.
no.
That's not the way. It's not Ruben and his crew. It's not happening. If that happens, it's gonna be so unsatisfying.
I don't think that's gonna be how he goes. I think the thing with Teddy is a cockroach, and for whatever reason, he manages to escape all of these near-death situations time and time again. And it just seems like here is Ruben, here is a group that in theory would easily be able to take him down. And I think that's what's interesting in episode 30. We're already at this point where Teddy sort of knows a lot of that's out there, but
Yep.
like somehow, some way, this dude is gonna find a way to crawl out of this, still be alive, but then as he's crawling, he's going to see Franklin standing there over him. Because I think Teddy's biggest Achilles heel through a lot of this, even now, is he continues to underestimate Franklin Saint. Like, he used him as a tool that he thought he could just easily work with to establish his end game. And then he cast him aside when he's like, okay, you don't matter anymore. I'm going to take all your money. You're useless now. You're me. It's like, you don't understand the pain that Franklin feels for what everything he did to the community, what it did to himself, what it did to his own life, his future would be, like all of this stuff. This is his primary goal now, is destroying you, Teddy.
Absolutely. I mean, Teddy is, I think we're all just waiting for that moment that Teddy ends up dead.
Yeah.
It's just, I think that's the one thing that the fan base can all agree
Yes.
on. We're just waiting for that to happen.
Yeah, and it's gonna come. Like, this is I don't see a way in which Teddy survives this show. And
No, but for me, it has to be Franklin or Sissy, or it's just not going to, be okay. And I'm still holding out hope. I said this last season, and I mean, like, they haven't alluded to it at all this season. So this is probably just some tinfoil hat
yeah.
made up in my head, but I want Alton to still be alive. The idea that Teddy
Yeah.
sort of he disappeared him. He never actually really said that he was dead. And there's just part of me that feels like he put Alton underground somewhere and that he's in hiding and he's going to end up somehow reuniting with Franklin at the end of all of this.
I wouldn't be mad about that. Like that to me is the much more interesting outcome to all of this than okay, just off Dalton. And it's like, okay, nobody ever found a body, nobody ever found like any
No,
direct
he just
evidence.
disappeared.
Yeah, it's just that all of it is just strange. But
Because if Alton is still out there once everything ends with Teddy, then maybe Alton can be the person that then helps work with Leon.
Leon does need someone else.
Yeah,
And
he does. And, Alton and his shelter and his work in the community is something that people respect and they listen to.
I think in the end, we are going to see, regardless of who lives through the end of this, there's got to be a moment of healing. There's got to be a moment of, okay, we've all gone through this, but there's still going to be a way to move forward. How do we do that? And I think the big question moving into the rest of this final season now is who are going to be the main narrators of that story and who are going to be the people who are sort of left behind, who are, victims of this system that sort of dragged them into all of it. And Teddy is this sort of face of the system, the big government, that we don't care about you. We're just going to use you. And that's the most heartbreaking thing about this show.
Absolutely.
All right. Well, hit that subscribe button, guys, so you don't miss any of our other Snowfall coverage. There's a lot more on the way. Follow us on Instagram at MadAJessTV to see Jess's fun
Thank
birthday
you.
celebration stuff. And we will see you here next time.